So I thought I'd very briefly show you the acoustic corner today, and like this is where all the guitars are, and I mean the highlights being the giggable. Like this is my gigging electroacoustic that I use for everything live. It's really simple setup. It's got some age to it. It's like a no-name Martin copy. They've gone to great lengths to make sure I don't know what it is, but it's like a real simple system, and it works well. Like the way I set it up, it works well. But acoustically, it sounds very nice. It sounds very full, which is why I bought it. I was in the shop and it's like I'd gone past it 4 or 5 times, like over the months that I was buying other stuff, and then and I hadn't noticed that it was an electro, and I noticed the little jack socket at the bottom, and I thought, oh, I best pick that up, and I did, and and I played a G, and it just exploded with that lovely fulsome dreadnought sound. I mean, they're not my favourite guitars by any means, dreadnoughts, but I kind of appreciate them for what they are, and I like to use them for what they are. But that's perfect for me for gigging, because it's not it's very unimpressive, if that makes sense, and there's no cutaway. I was assuming that I'd get a sort of affordable electroacoustic and it'd be a cutaway shallow body sort of thing, but no, that's actually got some power and punch acoustically, and and it's nice to play. Well, it's got quite a skinny neck and a flat fret, so it's not my most comfortable board by any means, but I can gig on it no trouble. I like it. So yeah, there's that. This highlight. I just got it's very cheap as well. But yeah, like I said, it's got some age to it, so that top's kind of responsive. Then after that is the classical that was a donation through Stone Pillow. I was in the hostel and I didn't even have a guitar to fucking busk with. It got nicked and all that. And fucking I went from the hostel to the chemist to the day centre, which was my daily routine at that point, because go to the chemist on a methadone prescription, and then go to get a nice cup of tea somewhere, nice sweet cup of tea somewhere, and so the day centre. And I got to the day centre and booted up the computer, because they had 3-4 computers they could use, so I stayed online with you guys basically that time. And one of the staff comes out, I forget her name now, and that's bad, because she was so fucking helpful, a good human being. But anyway, she come out, and it was this Encore classical guitar, and it had a post-it note on it saying, "For Tim Fox." And it was just the most beautiful thing, and it's not so good you wouldn't take it busking. It's just, this is a guitar you can get out of an Argos, I expect. But again, it's got some age to it. I actually love it. The strings are dead. So I use it busking. I use it now busking, and I still write songs on it. This is quite often one of the first guitars I pick up in the day. Then usually swiftly followed by this, which if you want to buy this, I don't know. I guess maybe this is the closest equivalent you can find to this online. 2,235 quid. No, 2,350 quid is the closest. This is a Manuel Raimundo 145 Negra flamenco guitar, and it is a did I say a 145 Negra? Yeah, 145, 1978, and made by the master himself. This is a piece, and like all nylon stringed acoustics that I buy, I generally pay about 30 quid. It was, what can I say, and that isn't quite the truth of it. He said he wanted 60 quid for it. He said he'd been asking for 60 quid. This is my normal guitar broker. He knew what it was. didn't quite. I don't think he quite knew it was quite that valuable, but he knew it was like fucking maybe a 600 quid like classical guitar. Yes, that's how he described it. And he said he's been trying to let it go all week for 60 quid. And if I wanted it, like, come and have a look. I went down there and I bought the snakeskin strap, which was 80 quid, right? He wanted for that. And he wanted 60 quid for this, right? So I did a mental calculation and I thought, if he'll let me have the two for 30 quid, right, if he'll let me have the two for 120 quid, yeah? So the snakeskin axle strap, which you've seen 100 times, can I get it out? Yeah. So this was like 80 quid he wanted for this, and that's what I was there to buy, cash in pocket, right? So there was that for 80 quid. And then this had cropped up, yeah? And he'd been asking for 60 quid, right, for people. So I did a mental calculation and I thought, right, okay, if he would go like 120 for the two, yeah, I'll strike, you know, like fucking do it. And I said, all right. I said, well, I definitely want the strap. Like, what if I have that as well? And he goes, you can have them both for 100 quid. That's what he said. You can have them both for 100 quid. And I was like, yeah, all right, that sounds good. Yeah. And I didn't know anything about Manuel Raimundo, but I could see, looking at it, that's good. Like, that's good. Like, you know. And I don't know flamenco guitars, or I didn't then. Yeah, fucking, I got home and I hit Google, and that was one of the best days. So like, and because you know what was good about that was like, wow, because I was looking to replace this classical guitar because it developed a rustling vibration I couldn't solve, and I thought, oh, I'll just look around the charity shops as well as my usual dude, and yeah, and so that cropped up, and so I was in the market anyway. So I got a really good nylon string, a flamenco at that, which has sent me down a path. Okay, it's sent me down a path this last, what has it been, 9 months or whatever, where I've kind of quite assiduously studied flamenco on YouTube. I've been like going right down into it, and I now practice like golpeador every morning, which is a style I have never been able to play, you know, and that's the one where you sort of, you know, where the, you know, there's a rhythm element to it, you know, sort of like. Yeah, you get me, that sort of style. Now, I never have done that in my life, so to be playing for 33 years and like to be going into a completely new like branch of the craft, which has its own culture and history going way back with, like, you know, all of the stuff that guitar geeks love about, you know, wood types and sourcing and the whole flamenco scene. It's been a wonderful thing, and what's lush about it is it's still a cottage industry now. It's just Spain clustered with these cottage industries which serve the world. You know, I was able to communicate directly with the very man that built that guitar and spoke as if he knew it, like, you know, but he's made hundreds, but he spoke as if he knew it. And something that I learned on that day was you know, and through a translator mind, you know, so it's like you know, it's like I actually never spoke to, you know, the man, but like I learned that each one is unique. There are no two exactly the same. There's some kind of little detail, you know, like where it uses two pieces of obolony and it might use 3, you know, there's some tiny detail, something in the shape of the headstock, you know, some tiny little detail, and be unique. Every single one is unique. You make sure that that's the case, and I love that, and I love the whole story of the spruce. This very, like, these years are quite like amongst flamenco purveyors of Manuel Raimundo's. This is kind of cool because it's of a particular type, the Negra, and the year, which is 78, where it's a specific German mountainside alpine spruce, like Bavarian Alps, I think, and it's like a spruce that grows on the side of the mountain really slowly, so it's this really tight, dense grain, you know. It was really interesting hearing about this wonderful stuff about that guitar, and what can I say? Like, I call that 30 quid because, like, 80 quid for the snakeskin Strat, and what was it, 60 quid for that, compacted down to the 100 quid that I paid. I'd say 70 for the electric, 30 for the acoustic. And that was, you know, one of those times that, you know, I did real well. And stuff like that's important. I mean, you knows that are out there that, you know, that live with partners and stuff, and it's like you kind of have to justify your spending. And when when your sort of like guitar madness is kind of provable as an investment, you're all right. So yeah, so that's the main body of it, and then after that it's the smaller chaps. So I use, like, I call them treble guitars basically, where I use half size and 3/4 sizes, you know, to overdub in recording to get those sounds. You know, I've talked about this in other videos, so I just wanted to show you the acoustic corner. Now, what's it like? I mean, do you recognise yourself? Do you recognise that face? I love my work, like, more than anything else, more than anything or anyone that I ever could. I love my work, I'll say that. Right, now, today's rig, I've been using the Yamaha. I started the day with the Yamaha and was catching, like, at that, you know, quite a rich low end, like a rich deep dark gravy. And then I transferred to the 70s Matsumoto Strat, and the rig I've been using, I've been using the orange amp today, and I've been using I've been A-Bing between the orange and the Hohner, the 90s Hohner, alternating between the two, not run as a stereo rig, but switched through an A-B box, and then input is going into a Crazy Cacti, you know, which is basically a tube screen, but I've got it set up today, so when you hit the boost, yeah, which is that, when you hit the boost, what I've got is quite special and requires a video of its own, but it's essentially like the craziest fuzz you can ever hear. It's just, I didn't realise if you wound the bush, but the tone, or the boost all the way up, like, it's like the boost, it's like its subsection, it's like its little sub-channel, right, the boost, and it's got its own level, right, which is like volume and drive sort of intertwined. And I didn't realise, you know, if you have it in certain settings here on the fucking toggles, you know, because you've got like 3-way toggles and shit, like, if you're in the correct combination and you wind that all the way up, you're going into tone bender territory. This is like some really fucking gnarly fuzz. Some of the nicest, most dynamic fuzz I've ever had, because it has the feathery touch sensitivity of the usual sort of MOSFET soft clipper circuit. So, like, yeah, so like it's set up in the least tube screamer way it's ever been, into the governor, you know, but essentially doing the job of a tube screamer, into the governor, which is then into the Stomp Lab 2G, which is set up with like various things, delays and pitch shifters on the expression pedal there. And don't you just love how secure I am in my masculinity with these slippers? And yeah, so that's that. And but just as like a traumatic bit of news, like fucking, and I'm sure it's like some kind of clerical formality or something, but I haven't been served with an eviction notice, but the person I rent off has been. So, you know, enjoy everything while you've got it. I'm sure everything will be fine, but I'll come back with updates and let you know, truly. Alright.